Morning, everyone. As you get started in permaculture or homesteading, and you're beginning with raw land, you're gonna find you need lots of buildings, small buildings like tool sheds, chicken coops, pig pen, maybe an outdoor bathroom. Maybe you want to build your own house like I do. And if you look at these woods, you notice a lot of the trees are pretty small. This is a pretty young woods, and they're dense as well, which means I can clear some here and there to open up light for the others. And that means I'll have lots of small trees that won't be quite big enough to take to a sawmill. Well, they won't be anywhere near big enough to take to a sawmill. Like for example, these two right here. Let's say I want to take this one that's leaning out and leave the straight one. That's not a saw log, that's just firewood for most people. But if you learn how to do roundwood timber framing, you could turn that into a building, which is what I'm trying to do here. And I just got started on this. This is a pretty nice sized post here. And I'm gonna have 4 of these for my corners and just frame a small little building. I don't know what the purpose of it is yet, whether it's a tool shed or an outdoor bathroom or something like that, but that's what it's gonna be. The only resources on this is one book by Ben Law called Roundwood Timber Framing. It is the only book out there. It's a good book. Sometimes I wish it was more substantial. And then I've also used Ben Law, the Woodland Workshop, to make some of these devices that I'm using out here. Anyway, I definitely recommend both of these. But you don't need a whole lot to get started. I use a draw knife to take the bark off, and a chisel. This is brand new. I just used it yesterday for the first time. Saw. I've got a circular saw, a plumb, a level, but it's pretty basic. So hopefully we'll be able to start turning some of these smaller trees into buildings. And here, this is another device I got from Ben Law's book. I think he calls it a roundwood peeler. You know, it's just a basic device. Basic little tripod to hold that while I peel the bark off. And then once it's peeled, it'll look like this. Those are 2 of my 4 posts, my 4 corner posts. And here's the 4th one, and you can see the tenon drawn on it. So in roundwood timber framing, you're working from the center point. You're snapping a plumb line, a level line, and then you're working from the center as opposed to working from a corner, like maybe you would in traditional timber framing or joinery. But that's what I'm working on. The only downside is it takes longer than square rule joinery, but if you're gonna construct lots of sheds, different buildings, chicken coops, like I said, and you've got a woods with smaller trees, and you don't have a sawmill, or maybe you've got a neighbor who's got a woods and they're doing select cuts, and a lot of that stuff would just go to firewood traditionally. But maybe you can get wood for cheap, because even just a small little building like what I'm building would be probably $300 to $500 worth of lumber, and it wouldn't even be as strong as this. So yeah, that's why I'm learning roundwood timber framing, to save money, to use what I've got on hand, and to make something beautiful. So here's where I'm at for today. I've got 2 of these finished with a tenon and then a mortise here to receive another This is 1.5 inches wide, so I drilled it out with 1.5 inch bit, 2 holes, and then cleaned it out with a chisel. And when I have the log, I'll make sort of a housing here, maybe a 1/2 inch or 1 inch for the log to sit into it, because all the weight's going to be pushing down that way. So it'd be best if this is housed, which means that the round part of the log will be just sitting into the post a little. And this is what it looks like from up above. All right, folks, thanks for watching, and hope you're well. Let me know if you're getting into something similar here.